As we all know by now, Patrick Kane is back with the Chicago Blackhawks. But this had me wondering, does this move the needle for the Blackhawks? With Connor Bedard suffering a shoulder injury this offseason and likely not to return until November, can this squad hold down the fort long enough for him to return? And when he inevitably comes back, are they good enough to compete? They just traded their 4th overall pick for Bowen Byram, hoping for him to be their number 1 defenseman. And they also have tons of young talent that will burst onto the scene this upcoming offseason. So the question is this enough? Or are they still a ways out? Let's find out. So this is my projected lineup for the 2027 NHL season. From the first glance, it doesn't look half bad. You got a lot of unproven talent, yes, but if some of these young guys can produce to the level that they're projected to be, this Blackhawks team might surprise some people. So after Bedard gets back, for the first line, I have Nazar, Bedard, and Kane. I have Nazar moving from the second line center to the left wing of Bedard, with Kane on the right side. I think this could be a great first line for the Blackhawks, and with Bedard actually having some great wingers beside him, I think he could put up some monstrous numbers when he comes back from his injury. So for the second line, I have Bertuzzi, Frondell, and Kanserov. Bertuzzi is going to just be a solid 50 to 60 point player like he always is. If Frondell can continue what he was doing at the end of last season with 9 points in 12 games, he could be a great second line center for the future of the Blackhawks. And if you were to continue that point pace for this next season throughout a whole season, 9 points in 12 games, that would actually give him 61 points. In the future, he's probably going to be even better than that, but 61 points is an above-average second-line center, and that would be more than what the Blackhawks need to actually make the playoffs. Not to mention Roman Kanserov on the right wing. This guy put up point-per-game numbers in the KHL, the first 21-year-old to do so since Kirill Kaprizov. And yeah, if this guy could just be 80% of what Kirill Kaprizov is, the Blackhawks are going to be set for the future. So now we get to the third line, and I have Teuvo Teravainen, Oliver Moore, and Nick Lardis as the third line. Teravainen had a down year last season with only 35 points in 75 games, but the previous year he had 58 points in 82 games. So if he can get back to that pace where he was with his first season with the Blackhawks and how he was with the Hurricanes, this could be a pretty good third line going forward, especially with Moore and Lardis being so young. And if they can just produce at a 30 to 40 point pace for this next coming season, that could be a really great third line that could probably even propel the Blackhawks into the playoffs next year if they were to produce at that rate. Now for the fourth line, you got Ryan Green, Ryan Donato, and Cole Smith. Ryan Green had a pretty good season of 29 points last year, and he's 22 years old. He could even be brought up to that third line if one of those young prospects doesn't work out, and Oliver Moore or Nick Lardis. But yeah, that's a pretty good forward core altogether, and it's probably one of the Blackhawks' greatest strengths. But now you get to the defense, and you got Alex Vlasic and Bowen Byram. Vlasic's a solid defenseman, but I don't think he's anywhere near being a good top-line defenseman. And then you got Wyatt Kaiser and Artem Levchinov, who was the second overall pick in the 2024 draft behind Celebrini. And he's a solid defenseman, but he's nowhere near what a second overall pick defenseman should be yet. And he could get there, but right now he's a young defenseman and one of the Blackhawks' many unproven young players that they have in their lineup. For the third pairing, you got Ian Cole and Sam Rinzel, just two solid third pairing guys, but they're not going to be any difference makers this upcoming season in the Blackhawks' playoff chances. And then for the goalies, you got Spencer Knight and Arvid Soderblom, which could be a really good pairing. And they're one of the Blackhawks' strengths they have this upcoming season. So overall, the Blackhawks have a really good forward core, but they're lacking on the defensive end besides Bowen Byram. And they have a solid goaltending tandem between Knight and Soderblom. So all in all, this team, if they could just get some solid defense and then their young guys step up, I could see them maybe making the playoffs, but more than likely, they'll probably end up just being competitive enough to stay in the hunt. But at the end of the day, it's going to take some really good production from the young guys and some good luck in Bedard's return for them to have a chance. But here are my X factors for what's going to determine the Blackhawks season. So for the first thing, I have Connor Bedard. It's a matter of how long it's going to take for him to return. If he comes back early November, just a month after the season starts, and the Blackhawks are just staying afloat while Bedard makes his return, then it's really just going to be a matter of, is he going to produce like he was before he got injured last season? Because before his shoulder injury in December of last season, Bedard was on an elite 1.41 point per game pace. He recorded 44 points in his first 31 games last season, putting him at a ridiculous 116 full season pace. So he would have been neck and neck with Celebrini last season if he didn't get injured. And keep in mind, the Blackhawks were competing for a playoff spot and in a playoff spot before he was injured. So if Bedard can get back early and play how he was, then I could totally see the Blackhawks actually making some noise next season. My second X factor is going to be Bowen Byram. The number one question is, can he be the stud number one defenseman that the Blackhawks traded for when they traded their 4th overall pick? Last year had 42 points in 82 games. Pretty good stats, but nowhere near what's required to be a $12 million player for the Blackhawks. He really needs to step up, play these top line minutes, and consistently get over at least 60 points to be remotely near worth the contract that he just signed. And most importantly, help the Blackhawks make the playoffs. For my last X Factor, we have Roman Kantarov. He was one of those players that slipped out of the first round to the 44th overall pick because of his size concerns. He's 5'9", and also because he's from Russia, and it can take some time for these players to transition over to North America. But now he's here, and he signed his entry-level contract, and he's going to be playing this upcoming season. And yeah, he was the first 21-year-old to be the top goal scorer in the KHL since Kirill Kaprizov. So he's got big expectations. And yeah, he could be potentially a Calder winner this year. And if he does that, I feel like the Blackhawks are a lock to make the 2027 Stanley Cup playoffs. But anyways, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. You think it's actually possible for the Blackhawks to make the playoffs next year? And if you enjoyed the video, make sure to hit that subscribe button. It really helps me out. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.